Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked at your savings account and wondered if there is a smarter way to make your money work for you? Have you ever felt like investing was something only young people or Wall Street professionals could do? If that sounds like you, I want you to stay right here, because what I'm about to share with you today could genuinely change the way you think about your money and your future. My name is Creed Graves, and on this channel, I break down investing and personal finance in simple terms, so that anyone, no matter your age or background, can understand how to build real wealth right here in America. And today, I am talking directly to seniors, because here is the truth that most people never tell you. It is not too late, not even close. In fact, seniors have one of the biggest advantages in the investing world that most young people do not have. And that advantage is this: you already have money. You have spent decades working, saving, and building. The question is not whether you have something to invest. The question is whether you are putting that money in the right places. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. Now, before we get into the specific investment options, I want to clear up the biggest myth that stops most seniors from ever getting started. The myth that investing is too complicated or too risky for someone at your stage of life. I hear this all the time. People say things like, "I am too old to start now," or "I cannot afford to lose money at my age," or "I will just leave it in my savings account where it is safe." And I understand where that thinking comes from. But here's the problem with leaving all your money sitting in a savings account: inflation. Right now, in the United States, inflation is eating away at the value of your money every single year. That means if your savings account is paying you 1 or 2% interest, but inflation is running at 3 or 4%, you are actually losing money in real terms every single year without even touching it. Your money is shrinking while it sits there. That is not safety. That is a slow leak. So, what is the solution? The solution is to understand the different ways you can put your money to work and choose the ones that match your goals, your comfort level, and your timeline. And that is exactly what I am going to walk you through right now. Let us start with the foundation. Before you invest a single dollar into anything, you need to make sure you have what I call your financial base covered. This means having 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in a savings account or money market account that you do not touch. This is your emergency fund. It is not an investment, it is your safety net. It means that if something unexpected happens, a medical bill, a car repair, anything like that, you are not forced to sell your investments at a bad time just to cover it. Get this in place first. Everything else comes after. Now let us talk about the actual investment options available to seniors in the United States. I am going to break down 5 of them for you. I am going to tell you the risk level of each one, how easy they are to understand, and whether they are right for someone at your stage of life. By the end of this, you will know exactly where to put your money and why. The first option is individual stocks. This is when you buy shares in a single company. For example, you might buy shares in Apple, Microsoft, or Johnson & Johnson. When the company does well, your investment goes up. When the company struggles, your investment goes down. Now here is the honest truth about individual stocks. They have a high learning curve and a high risk level. To invest in individual stocks properly, you need to understand how to read a company's financial statements, evaluate its leadership, understand its industry, and track its performance over time. Most people, even experienced investors, get this wrong. There was a well-known experiment where an investor randomly picked a single stock, and over 4 years, that stock lost nearly a third of its value. Meanwhile, the overall market was growing. That is the danger of putting your money into just 1 or 2 companies. For seniors, I would say individual stocks should only make up a small portion of your portfolio if you use them at all. They are not the foundation of a smart retirement investment plan. The second option is real estate investment trusts, which most people call REITs. Now, if you have ever wanted to invest in real estate but did not want the headache of being a landlord, REITs are the answer. A REIT is a company that owns income-producing properties like apartment buildings, shopping centers, hospitals, and office spaces. By law, a REIT must pay out at least 90% of its taxable income to shareholders as dividends. What that means for you is regular income paid directly into your account, without you having to own or manage any property. You can buy shares of a REIT right on the stock market just like buying any other stock. The risk is moderate, the learning curve is low to moderate, and the passive income potential is excellent. For seniors who want steady income from their investments, REITs are one of the best options available. They give you real estate exposure without any of the stress. The third option is index funds. And if I could only recommend one investment for a senior who is just getting started, this would be it. An index fund is essentially a basket of hundreds or even thousands of companies all bundled together into one single investment. When you invest in an S&P 500 index fund, for example, you are buying a tiny piece of the 500 largest companies in the United States all at once. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, all of them in one investment. The beauty of this is diversification. You are never dependent on one company doing well. If one company in the index goes down, the other 499 are still working for you. Index funds have a low learning curve, low fees, and historically the S&P 500 has returned around 10% per year on average over the long term. For seniors with a 5 to 10 year or longer time horizon, index funds are the single most powerful and reliable wealth building tool available. This is not a get-rich-quick strategy. This is a get-wealthy steadily strategy. And the compounding over time is what makes it so powerful. The fourth option is gold. Gold has been used as a store of value for thousands of years, and it still plays a role in a smart investment portfolio today. However, I want to be very clear about what gold is and what it is not. Gold is not a growth investment. It does not pay dividends. It does not generate income. What gold does is protect your wealth during times of economic uncertainty. When stock markets are crashing and inflation is out of control, gold tends to hold its value or even increase. Think of gold as insurance for your portfolio rather than a growth engine. A small allocation to gold through something like a gold ETF, which you can buy on the stock market, gives you protection without requiring you to physically store anything. For seniors, a small allocation to gold makes sense as part of a balanced portfolio, but it should not be the majority of your investments. The fifth option is cryptocurrency. And I am going to be very straight with you here, because I think a lot of seniors get taken advantage of when it comes to crypto. Cryptocurrency is the most volatile and speculative asset class on this entire list. Yes, Bitcoin has been one of the best performing assets of the last decade, but it has also dropped 70 to 80% in value multiple times. It can go from a huge gain to a massive loss in a matter of weeks. For seniors who are looking to protect and grow their wealth, I would be very cautious with crypto. If you choose to include it at all, only use money you can genuinely afford to lose completely. Never put your retirement savings or your emergency fund into cryptocurrency. Treat it like a small speculative bet, not a core investment. Now, let me bring this all together and give you a simple framework for how a senior should think about building their investment portfolio in America today. Your foundation should be index funds. Put the majority of your investable money here. A simple S&P 500 index fund through a platform like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab is all you need. Low fees, broad diversification, and long-term growth. This is the core of your wealth-building strategy. On top of that foundation, add some REITs for income. If you want regular dividend payments coming into your account, REITs are one of the best ways to achieve that as a senior. They give you real estate exposure and steady cash flow without the complexity of owning property. Add a small allocation to gold for protection, not a lot, just enough to act as a buffer during economic downturns and periods of high inflation. And if you are curious about individual stocks, keep them to a small percentage of your overall portfolio. Never bet everything on one or two companies, no matter how confident you feel about them. As for crypto, approach it with extreme caution and only if you truly understand what you are getting into. Never let it be more than a very small, speculative piece of your overall plan. One of the most important things I want you to take away from this video is this. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to investing. The right mix of investments for you depends on your personal risk tolerance, your financial goals, your timeline, and your current financial situation. What works perfectly for one person may not be right for another. The goal is to build a mix that gives you growth, income, and protection in a way that lets you sleep well at night. But here is what I know for certain. Doing nothing is not a safe option. Leaving all your money in a savings account while inflation quietly eats away at it year after year is itself a risk. The real risk is not investing. The real risk is waiting. You have worked hard your entire life to build what you have. Now it is time to make sure that money works just as hard for you. Start simple. Start with index funds. Add REITs for income. Protect a portion with gold. And revisit your strategy as your confidence grows. That is the foundation of a smart senior investment plan right here in the United States. If this video helped you understand investing in a way that finally makes sense, please hit that like button and subscribe to Creed Graves for more straightforward investing and finance content every single week. And drop a comment below and tell me one thing. What has been your biggest question or fear about investing as a senior? I read every single comment and I will do my best to answer you personally. It is never too late to build real wealth, and I will see you in the next video.